How does that look on stream? How does that look on stream? Not great. Not great. It does not look great. I have to do the full screen thing. Jeez, this thing is not letting up. There we go. There we go. Now I think it's all right. Hi, what's up, Wolfie? Mr. Wolf. Are we doing good with the connection? We back. We are back. Had some technical difficulties, but by all means, I'm not sure that this is still on the ground anymore, but it's probably going to continue. It's probably going to continue. If it did it once, the general rule of thumb might do it again. Um, really interesting evolution here. I mean, that was fair. That was very rapid. Very rapid tornado genesis here, and we're still ongoing. So Abbeville's got to watch out. Shorterville, and we're heading almost into Georgia now. Got to be watching out here big time. You're all good, Wolf. You're all good, Wolf. You never have to throw money at me. Don't worry. You're all good, Wolf. Never have to throw money at my face. Tornado on the ground? Yeah, big time earlier. Big time just earlier. Pretty big CC drop as well. And debris ball. Pretty fat debris ball, actually. 60 dBz debris ball. And then, not really right now. I think we might have lifted for right now, but it's probably just going to continue along here. I don't see why it shouldn't. I'm just cruising around here. We're definitely a right moving supercell. In Northern Echo. I don't know that it's populated in that area at all. No, not at all. I mean, it looks like it was peak intensity, probably right here. And it was over mostly trees. This is a big tree eater, which is very good. Very good. We want these tree eaters. We don't want tree eaters, but you know what I mean. We don't want significant tornadoes in populated areas for sure. That's definitely not what we want. Abbeville, yeah, that's still an issue with this thing. Is if this thing cycles up and we end up producing again, that Abbeville is definitely in line here, which is not good. Abbeville is not good. New velocity scan comes in. We might. I mean, there's a lot of sudden lightning in that area. Let's see this new velocity scan coming in. Getting a little disorganized. Again, as it'd be good if we could. It'd be very good if we could stay that way. But again, this thing could just cycle up and we could keep going. And we could keep going, man. Abbeville in the path. I wouldn't say like the direct path, but it would take it really close, uncomfortably close, to the point where you're not risking it. So it was strong, yeah, definitely, definitely a strong, possibly intense tornado. No doubt about it. Pretty impressive. Um, Pretty impressive. Wasn't really expecting this all of a sudden, but the shear was there. We just lacked a lot of the essential ingredients for most of the day to do it. Wasn't expecting sig tour potential. It was on the table, but not a ton. And that kind of looks like it wants to do it soon as well. I mean, we're kind of getting that broad area right there. But man, it was ripping. Really ripping back here. Even had this at debris ball. But we'll just keep watching, man. This thing could easily come back here. Able to tighten up some inflow. It went out again. And it's got that look too. I don't like that look. I definitely don't like that look. Where it's just kind of a nub right here. I mean, that usually very easily just. Hmm. And we're very close to the radar. Very, very close to the radar here. We're only scanning about, God, back here, only scanning about 100 feet aloft. So these are really good. I mean, we're only looking 100 or so feet aloft here. So, just low ending it. I mean, we're having about 150-mile-an-hour winds just above the surface, very close. So it's easy. It's pretty easy to tell here that we're dealing with a significant, possibly intense tornado in that EF2, EF3 range, easily. Just given the fact that we're so close to the radar, that I mean, these wind measurements actually mean something. Kind of broadening out a bit, and that's good. Keep it that way. We really want to keep it that way. Really, really, really want to keep it that way. It's like it was carousing just along this boundary here. Check this out. Just along this boundary here, and it was able to channel that boundary in there, get some inflow, and feed this thing. And it just went nuts. But look at that very big boundary there. I guess another issue here is it could actually be displaced and behind the boundary now. So its tornado potential might lessen, but simultaneously, I think it's still kind of curves up into the boundary. So who knows? Really have to watch that. And anything behind it as well. I mean, these are just blobs of rain, but if we have any more Gulf Coast convection tonight, ooh, ooh, what are we doing? What are we trying to do here? Again, not liking that look. Not totally liking that look. But it would be going really close to Shorterville if this thing again cycles or continues. So, oh man, okay. We are broadening out, but the inflow's there, man, and it's kind of just doing that thing. It's spin up again. Hello, Clint. Possible that it could spin back up. Yeah, big time. Um, so Shorterville and south of Abbeville, there really needs to really be on the lookout. I don't know what road this is exactly here. This interstate that runs through here. But anybody west of Abbeville, kind of in southern Abbeville, that's a pretty populated area, and running on this interstate right here. Really needs to start getting off of it because this thing could easily wrap up again. Because it's got that look, man. I mean, there's a lot of times I see storms like this, and they just have that look, and it has that look that it's just gonna ramp back up again, given the opportunity. It just broadens out a little more, has a good RFD surge. Very quickly we start to wrap up again. So we'll just have to watch out. Just have to watch out there, but significant tornado, no doubt. Fairly long track as well, on the ground for a bit. Alabama Highway 431. That's it. Got to get off that. Got to get off that if they're in the polygon in general. You never know. We're broadening out, but generally healthy mezzo there. Broad, but broad. The hope is that this thing, it's definitely not as impressive as it was. We're kind of pushing behind the boundary there. Um, Definitely not helping it at all. But any of these storms back here that are able to not be elevated and weird. What is going on back there? Right by K-Mob here. I don't know what this is, but whatever it is, it could be problematic in the future. I mean, that's super elevated. But in terms of if it keeps moving, and I mean, that could really be an issue. But there is that really strong wind shift right there along that boundary. And our storm might have crossed a little too far north of that boundary. We might have just jumped a little too far north. About 72 over 68 there, 71 over 70. So not any significant drop. And definitely not, we're not in a warm front at all. We're just kind of, we're 68 over 66 here. Definitely winding down a bit. Definitely winding down quite a bit there. Again, I'd still watch out with these nighttime Dixie setups. They will very quickly ramp up. Let's see what the SPC thinks. Look at mesoanalysis. Just get a look. And we're kind of in that notch there of just favorable instability. We're just right in there. And I imagine just along that cold front, we have quite a bit as well of vorticity to work with. Huge area just got torr watched, really. I imagine that was kind of a defining decision. I imagine that tornado was certainly a driver. Oh yeah, I see that. Just that whole area right there. A couple intense tornadoes possible. The environment has become and will for occasional embedded tornadic circulation. So I imagine that's what we're going to be dealing with. Random, possibly significant spin ups like that. Definitely need to be watched. Again, not an impressive look overall, but that situation can change really, really fast. Really, really fast, especially with these storms that are going to continue to truck northeast into that more favorable environment. I mean, man. Storm is definitely in there and still rotating, but no, nothing that impressive, which is good. Very, very good. Want to kind of avoid that. I think our storm is completely dying. Again, I've seen less impressive though, and tornadoes a lot of times just come to storm scale dynamics. Um, I've seen very unimpressive dying storms produce tornadoes and beefy ones not. You never know. So it's always good to just tour has been canceled. Alrighty. It's always good to just play it safe. Our storm right there is pretty much elevated. Definitely did produce a strong one back here, though. Interesting to see what damage surveys find. But again, anything that's able to get on this boundary here, stay ahead of it. That's interesting for tomorrow, honestly. I guess we'll go check out the HRRR, see what it's got for tomorrow. We'll get the 6Z run. Get the Southeast United States. 3.5-inch hail in Mobile. Wow. All right. What's the HRRR one? Definitely could see in the next few hours semi-discrete supercells in there in a favorable environment for sure. Lapse rates are definitely lacking, but in these nighttime environments, stuff just happens. So we'll have to watch out for that. But definitely a tornado threat that exists in that region. And then take a sounding kind of near the inflow of this cluster there. And again, same thing. Pretty favorable tornado environment. Might even support a significant tornado or two. But overall, in terms of the cams here initiating any convection, any storms, it's definitely on the lower side. We can just look at significant tornado parameter and we can see that, wow, there's it gets really hot up there. Really picking up near the coast, South Carolina, which is interesting. This is definitely a favorable tornado environment, very favorable, very nice venting as well, that precipitation. These would probably be fairly visible storms. Good lapse rates, very high Cape there. But in terms of storms that are able to take up that environment, that's very questionable. It doesn't seem the forcing will be that. Okay. That's interesting. I'd like to see what the Rufus here has, just to see. It's not an amazing model, but bro's not showing it. Oh my God, are you serious? Did it not pop up at all? Oh my God, I forgot about StreamYard, bro. Oh my gosh, dude, I'm sitting there showing nothing. Dude, I forgot about StreamYard. Lame. Ignore Rihanna. Ignore Rihanna. But yeah, I'll go back to the HRRR. Thank you for telling me that. We'll just show the 6Z. Again, have some gradual redevelopment of some embedded supercell type structures, some semi-discrete supercells in the Florida Peninsula. And again, the environment is definitely favorable, but I don't like those lapse rates. But it's the nighttime. Sometimes that strong low-level shear or any mergers can help overcome that. Any small-scale storm pressure perturbations or anything like that can get it done. But the real threat comes back alive tomorrow, where we could have a couple clusters, some supercells, just all types of modes of storms tomorrow. Taking a sounding kind of near the inflow region of some of these clustered storms here, you can definitely see that there's a favorable environment, but I guess the question is, would there be storms in this environment? It looks like there would be, but would they be able to take advantage of it? So we'll just have to watch. Definitely a conditional strong tornado threat in there tomorrow. Just looking at SIGTOR parameter, just because why not? I mean, it's really hot here of this entire region of eastern South Carolina there. Pretty favorable environment in general. Be really interested to see what goes down tomorrow. Definitely a higher ceiling type of event, but certainly a very low floor. This could pan out in many, many different ways. Many, many different ways. I'll switch back to radar here. That is not the proper terminology of that word, Caitlin, but I appreciate the enthusiasm. God, these guys here are really elevated. Not impressive right now. I'm not, these supercells aren't anything that I'm like blown away by. But like as they continue to move, I mean, this could really pose an issue. This could really, really pose an issue. Um, on the line, especially with this big guy right here. I mean, just pushing out in that Geneva area. I mean, again, I don't like setups that look like this, but it did it. It did it. I'll look see if there's any. Yeah, there's quite a bit of storm initiation coming off there. Quite a bit of. I mean, we're getting there. They're actually starting to convect in multiple areas off the coast. Gosh, man, if the ARRR has an environment like, well, if cams have um, one like that was shown in terms of the SIMREF, that could actually be really problematic. I mean, a really big problem. So the hope is that that doesn't happen. We'll go back up to Keox. That guy's right there, kind of north of that front. Um, Real tornado potential with that guy is pretty much over. Well, that's all right. Well, here we go again. Honestly, here we go again up near Shorterville. Here we go again up near Shorterville. It looks like it's gearing up to produce once again. Honestly, have definitely strengthening that inflow there. So Shorterville, Fort Gaines, gotta watch out. This thing, honestly, it was looking pretty unimpressive, but here we go again. Starting to wrap in, and that is classic right there. I mean, that is classic. I mean, that's game on. That's tornado genesis pretty much happening imminently. Tornado on the ground, is there? All righty. Next scan is going to be interesting. That going right up into Fort Gaines. So again, if you know anybody down here, I know there's only 8 viewers, but sometimes we can pick up random people on these things. But if you know anybody near Shorterville, Fort Gaines, downstream in Coleman, uh, Kearney, right there, those areas, I mean, gotta let them know. That man, slowly getting our act back together there, but we are. God, watch out, man. Watch out. How big is Shorterville? Okay, Fort Gaines. Man, Fort Gaines really has got to watch out. Probably the most populated area out here. Yay, the tornado died. No, we're back. We're very much back. Tornado likely on the ground here near Shorterville. There is tornado on the ground heading into Shorterville. So, Shorterville, once again, it's gotta go warn. They gotta warn that. They gotta warn that big time. Mm-hmm. There we go. There we go. Here we go. Looks good. Looks like a very weak tornado for sure. I definitely liked it, so far. But again, we could have a very rapid strengthening trend. Um, so it's just good to keep out. And especially with looks like this, a lot of times you do see that. But it is good that right now it does look like a weaker tornado. Um, let's hope it stays that way, especially with this next scan coming in. Kind of looks that way. Yep, definitely looks that way. Definitely a weaker tornado up near Shorterville right now. But a tornado nonetheless. Whether it's strong or not is kind of irrelevant. If this kind of thing hits you and you're in a mobile home in the middle of the night, you know what I mean? You could be severely injured. It's how is it down in Shorterville? God, it's kind of hard to see, but hoping these people are able to get warning because it's basically on their footstep. It's probably already in town. If there is still a tornado on the ground, it's probably still in town or going through right now. But this would be a very weak tornado, just kind of dancing, I guess you could say. There's probably a faint ground circulation in there. Good to see. Good, good looks there. Good looks there. Didn't wrap as hard, which is definitely good. Very, very good thing that we are not going nuts, and we still could, especially with any oh, small mergers that might happen. So, yeah, I was just about to say, watch the merger. Any little mergers right there definitely have to be watched. Okay, how's it looking right now? Um, it is looking. There was just a brief tornado. Then we got to really watch out for this. And there was a more significant tornado back here north of Echo. But either way, this is tornado warned. And again, got to watch any mergers here. that could always kick off, another strong tornado downstream. I would definitely not encourage you to keep your alerts off on your phone. That is like vital that you do it. Even if it scares you, that could save you. I really would not encourage that. God, I would really watch this here. That's coming right. Once that absorbs that, that is always worrying. That is always worrying. It's all the way ahead here. Don't have to worry about much of this crap vection. Again, still got to watch that guy. Well, since you have 19 weather radios, sure. I still want it because you need ways because you're not always going to have a weather radio. You just need as many ways as possible to receive warning in these types of situations. Yeah, keep all your alerts on. Don't you don't want to get hurt. Yeah, always better to be safe than sorry. There's nothing wrong with ever being. It's always safe, man. That's it. Just exactly. Your life depends on this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So never like turn alerts off. I mean, I can't tell you what to do. But I think it would be really good if you kept the alerts on for sure. This big guy here, as he continues to push a little south and is still along that boundary, I mean, I would be interested to see any of these more robust updrafts here, even though they're weak, rainy uh, thunderstorms right now. I mean, if they could just get ahead of it just a little bit, I mean that could definitely mean trouble, especially for this big guy near Midland City. Definitely watch that guy. Oh, there we go. It's definitely helping a little bit because our storm is growing in terms of our reflectivity there, which is never great. Definitely getting a more robust storm here. I'm cracking my knuckles, bro. trying to work on homework and I just could not. Really was struggling to do work. Yeah, we definitely won't see any Tories tonight. You know, we're not talking about that high end of an environment here. You know, I wouldn't worry about that. Wouldn't worry about that at all. Don't have anything else to do, so I thought I'd, maybe just cover this. Cancel that tornado warning though. I don't know if you guys hear the TV in the background, but that's my bad. If you do. Hurricane season. You live by the coast? I live. Hello, Doctor Super Evil. We have. Oh, that's watchable. We just had a strong tornado earlier. Big debris ball near uh, Keox in Alabama went right north of the radar right there. And we are still watching that same storm. Definitely way less impressive, but it just popped out another tornado, a very weak, brief tornado. Oh, you were watching? Okay. Just weren't chatting or not, or did you mean just like on radar? Yeah, we had that little brief tornado just west of Scottsville. But on now, which is always good. But the storm itself is not, and it could do something sneaky. Dude, I wish I could hop on the server. The mods just literally won't let me, dude. Like I don't know what Dutch threw on the server there, but it's like unplayable now. I can't even get in it. Sucks. I would like to play, but I didn't think we need any mods anyway. Like we could just use the tornado mod, but it's been loaded now with like vehicles and stuff. And I mean, I guess if that's wanted, but you lost all your stuff and you're salty. Well, I don't blame you. I don't blame you after that, dude. Minecraft can be one of the most infuriating games in the world. I hold to that opinion very, very strongly. I don't like how far away we're moving from the radar. Because coverage past here gets a little iffy. Huh. Gotta watch here too. Try to spit out again another weaker, sneaky tornado. Definitely getting more like consolidated there after that merger. Definitely an unimpressive storm, though. To the untrained eye, a lot of people would miss it. That's for sure. It was really, really impressive earlier, though, man. And really, really impressive. I wasn't expecting that at all. Sorry if I'm not talking. I was partially watching this show while I'm doing this. It was just a random Weather Channel special on tornadoes, and it's like, hey, dude, I don't mind watching the same footage I've seen 800 million times over again, dude. It'll never get old to me, dude. Unless it's the Stockholm video, dude. Then I'm turning it off. Small tornado hits car north of Stockholm, dude. Get out of here. A huge flash flood warning though, because these are really problematic in terms of flooding. And God, this could, if that gets more like convectively enhanced, I mean, you could have a huge straight line wind issue. Joplin is definitely scary. Joplin is definitely scary. Very scary, sad tornado for sure. Very sad. Lots of hail coming. Lots of hail reports like east of Mobile and in Mobile. Um, I mean, from all these guys here, kicking out crazy hail, especially near Milton there. Definitely some very strong storms though. Tornado or not, they're strong storms, and they are not fun to be caught in if you are outdoors or an animal. You know, I think that's often very commonly neglected as animals in these kind of situations. It's kind of sad, man. That's taking again. It's This is taking better shape once again. I think it's just going to continue to do this. Um, but again, that broad convergence has not gone away. It's weakened a lot. Um, Plus, I've been to tornadoes like in 2021 when like an EF3 tore through my neighborhood, like a quarter, half mile from where I live. Really? Where are you at? Man, that's really significant. That was, I imagine, one of the big events. That's New Orleans. Oh, okay, okay. So I remember the day. I do remember that was in the beginning of the year. I remember that, and it wasn't even the last time too, because at the end of that year, New Orleans got hit by an EF2. But that high end EF3 in New Orleans was really bad. That was actually really really bad. I was wondering for a minute if it was going to get rated EF4 just based on some of the damage that was coming out of it. Looked really wild, man. Some wild video came out of that too. I don't know the closest I've ever been to a tornado, but I've been pretty close to tornadoes. You know, like just a couple weeks ago, I was granted it was an EF1 and I was chasing, so it was a the desire to get near it was there, but I wasn't too far away from it. Probably less than a mile. Um, but I don't know exactly how close. I should probably look into that. Actually, try to investigate my closest I've ever been to a tornado. I think the closest I've ever been to a violent tornado was when I was really young. Um, there was one that went south of me that got tornado emergency, and then it went through an area in the county that I lived in at the time and wiped out a section of the town. It was a high end EF3, but it was just on that line, between EF3, EF4. Some of the damage got pretty rough in those areas. It like hollowed out a Taco Bell in the area, actually, like literally hollowed it out. Nothing but frame was left because I mean it was a really well built Taco Bell. Look at this. This is really going to be could be a damaging wind issue. And again, I don't like these kind of events like this that are tilted like this because we don't really the warm sector shrinks off of these storms that are coming up here. But man, it doesn't seem to me. I'm gonna just got about a notch 1,000 surface base cape in there. How about our mixed layer here? Same thing, about 1,000 joules a kilogram mixed layer cape. Not bad at all. I'm going to take a wrap sounding, just kind of see the environment that we were working with. What was it at? I guess we probably get a good look of it right here. It was just on the nose of that instability axis, and wow, pretty unimpressed. I imagine this is probably being underdone quite a bit by the wrap. Maybe we'd get a better look at like what we were dealing with in general. I mean, maybe this is probably more realistic to what we were dealing with. How are we looking now? Still that broad rotation that exists. The storm is still rotating, but really weak. Again, just gotta keep watching, man. I mean, they could do sneaky stuff. How these are how these are. These storms, not that impressive, but you know, if you gave them time to cook a little bit, but in general, not very impressive. Very electric though. This is probably terrible to sleep through right now. This is probably not fun. And we're actually starting to getting to that point where hold on, let me get my charger here. I don't know how much longer I'll be live, just for the fact that this is, not something. It's not like a very high, you know, environment where I'd be really, what's the word I'm looking for here, really engaged. It's kind of just watching these showers that some of which may have weak rotation that might produce tornadoes. So it's kind of, you know, difficult to do this for long if there's not much going on. So I might end it in a little bit. But just thought I'd go live for that storm in particular. It looked like it could keep pumping out tornadoes, and I think it did. Produce two there. on an F4 that happened in the place in 1983. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. F4 of the place. Let me. That area has so many close calls. So many close calls. I mean, it wasn't even, but the last like two. I mean, the significant borderline violent tornadoes going through New Orleans happened not that long ago. You know, so it's like not really much of a close call, but you know how volatile the environment can get in Louisiana. Sometimes it's surprising that it's so rare. I mean, I guess any single given area, it's pretty rare to have a tornado. But you can think about areas in Alabama that get slammed so many times each year, Mississippi, or areas in Texas. Lots of like little meso vortices along this whole area here. You know, we're kind of a west to east orientation, and that's not really great for any QLCS tornadoes or any spin ups. But I mean, in general, I mean, you could it shows at least that there's lots of vorticity along here, and that if you had a supercell that's able to ride it or be along it or be near it, you know, that you could do something silly. And I think that's what happened with this guy up here. But I mean, really weird sporadic event. I think with like a random sporadic tornadoes is probably going to happen. Alrighty. I think we'll end it here. Quick little live, but I just wanted to cover that storm. If you live down here, you know the drill. You know, this is going to persist. Got to have a way to get warnings. But I'm going to hit the hay here. It's almost 4 in the morning. I'm going to go to bed. But thank you for the people who did tune in, even though it was short. You guys are awesome. And I should see you guys tomorrow. So goodbye.